as wind increases, and usually contrary to solar, where there is a lot of wind, there is not a lot of people, because people like to go where there is sun, but not so much where there is wind. So transmission is critical for the deployment of wind. It is very difficult to build new transmission line, so the utilization of the current grid is very important for wind to be able to continue to grow and mitigate the intermittency of wind. Any foreseen progress in, I'm thinking about dynamic line rating, or using more extensively the existing grid?
I think that's an important area for research, and we think that's one of the better opportunities that's out there in terms of the thermal ratings for lines. So you have the voltage capacity constraints. You're not really going to do all that much about that unless you're going to reconductor or do some other things. But you're looking at stability. Well, on the thermal side, it's a static calculation basically, and one of the areas of research that DOE and the Wind Office and the Idaho National Laboratory have been at the forefront of is taking a look at this from a dynamic line rating perspective. And INL with Idaho Power and Altalink have been looking at this for a number of years. And essentially what they're doing is together with on the wind generation side, because I spent 9 years out in Idaho and actually helped out with some of this project in the early stages. But yeah, there's a big wind resource. There's some transmission constraints out there. When you get out west, you're starting to talk about paths. A lot of folks will take a look and they'll take a look at, wow, we have all these big open spaces in terms of running transmission, but the distances are so great if you think of some proposed projects like Gateway West or Boardman to Hemingway, Gateway West over 1,000 miles, that when you get into these projects, you may or may not ever see them built. You might see segments, it might be multi-decade process, but that leaves something like dynamic line rating. And where there's a wind resource, it could also act to help cool the lines. So you're not worried about the sagging as much. Some of the fire risk, so these are the kind of things that if you're able to increase the margin, you're able to carry more transmission, make it more.
We've been hearing, I'm going to hook you a little bit, we've been hearing about this being on the verge of being more generalized. How close do you think it's going to become, current prices by the RTOs? Because today it's not.
Dynamic line rating, we actually have a fair amount of more work to do. One is we have to convince folks that this is the right thing, because almost everyone, when they hear about this, they say, wow, that's something that you should really be pushing forward. But right now, these are pilot projects, and we need to expand it to other regions, I think, is important. We also have to make it not just a wind issue, because this works for whatever you're carrying, whatever the resource is that's providing the generation. I think that those are important. But as well, we're going to have to get away from just the real-time rating of the lines. We're going to have to get into better forecasting and eventually prediction. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to schedule. And if you're able to schedule, then you're able to have markets that are a little bit deeper, a little bit more liquid. So these are some of the areas. And I think to get back on the DOE, the geeky side of things is that there's a big opportunity for artificial intelligence and machine learning in these types of areas, and to get more into predictive science as more data becomes available. So these are some areas I think that
3-5 years down the road?
Not in the prediction business.
Okay.